Chapter 5, Mishnah 2. The Mishnah discusses the loss of Nesach wine that become mixed with other foods. If Nesach wine fell onto grapes, he may rinse them off with water, and they are then permitted for use. Since the wine was not absorbed into the grapes, washing them off with cold water removes any trace of Nesach wine that fell on them. But if the skins of the grapes were cracked and Nesach wine fell on them, they are prohibited because it is assumed that wine seeped through the cracks into the grapes themselves, and that wine cannot be washed off. If Nesach wine fell onto fresh figs or dates, even if their skins are not cracked, it cannot be washed off. Therefore, if there is enough wine in them to give flavor to them, it is permitted to eat them. The taste of wine in grapes, figs, and dates is good. The Mishnah now discusses the law in a case where the wine gives a bad taste to the permitted food. There was an incident in which Besos, the son of Zonin, brought dried figs on a ship, and a barrel of Nesach wine broke and the wine spilled on them. And he asked the sages about the dried figs, and they permitted them. Even though the flavor of the Nesach wine was noticeable in the dried figs, the sages ruled that they were permitted because wine gives an unpleasant taste to dried figs, as opposed to the fresh figs mentioned earlier in the Mishnah. The Mishnah gives a rule about forbidden foods that mixed with permitted foods. This is the general rule. Any forbidden food whose taste is beneficial to the mixture, so that if it falls into permitted food and the person who eats the mixture will enjoy the flavor the forbidden food gives it, causes the mixture to be prohibited. However, any forbidden food whose taste is not beneficial to the mixture, so that if it falls into permitted food that the person who eats the mixture will not enjoy the flavor the forbidden food gives it, leaves the mixture permitted. For example, vinegar made from Nesach wine that fell into split beans.